Do not disturb. Are we recording?
Yes.
Great. Welcome to the Crustacean Station. Hello, beadlings. Welcome back. I am a little bit nervous to make this video because it is a different format than anything I've ever done, but welcome to my studio tour. I'm going to show you my whole office space. I cleaned manically for this, so you better appreciate it because my joints hurt. I'm going to take you through my office and how I set everything up, why I set it up the way I did, where I got my stuff, what I use it for, and just generally try to be helpful about it, but also excited because I really love my office. My partner helped me set it up in a way that is nice and good for my brain. And so I'm really excited to share it with you. Part of the reason that I'm doing this tour is because I want to share my process and supplies and how I set everything up so that other people can also make their own candy cave. As you know, if you've watched literally any of my videos before, patrons vote on what each monthly video is going to be, and this month they voted for an office tour. So in my tutorials, I always talk about the supplies that I use for that specific project, but in this video, I'm going to try and go over all of the supplies that I use. I don't really have time to go into each specific bead and where exactly I got it, unless you want to sit here for 3.5 hours, which I don't, you probably don't. But I will give you my best recommendations for the most common candy supplies. One thing to keep in mind as I go through the tour is that this is a setup that I built over the course of 3 years. It has gone through so many different changes. I started out of just a set of Tupperware. And so if you are a new candy kid or a beginner candy kid, or if you don't have a whole room that you can turn into a candy cave, that is totally okay. You don't ever have to get to this point. I ended up making it into a whole business and a huge part of my life, and that's not for everyone, but I hope that you stick around to see it anyway because I think it's pretty cool. I know I mentioned it before, but we are here thanks to my lovely patrons. If you want to help support the channel, my Patreon link is down below. It's only $3 a month, and you get to vote on which tutorials come next. Okay, that's all my announcements. That's the whole intro. Let's do the tour. So obviously this is the main part of the office. It's all my desks and tables and drawers and stuff. So I'm gonna tell you what they are. This glass and wood, is from Office Depot. It's just a corner L desk. We got it when we moved here. I definitely did not have this in my old space. This was an upgrade. If I was gonna get this again, I would probably not go with glass, because I'm sure you can see it smudges immediately. That is a big reason that there's stickers all over that one, is because I was so sick and tired of looking at smudges everywhere. And it's very pretty now. I like it. But also I have to put wax paper on top of it when I'm going to be working on it, because otherwise I will mess up my stickers. So it's a little give and take, right? These boys, these white desks, are from IKEA. They are the cheapest desk you can get at IKEA. They're 20 bucks each when they're on sale, I think. And they don't hold up super well. The white stuff, the paint comes off very rapidly. So if you want a nice pristine white background for things, don't get these ones. But if you don't care and you just need something cheap to be sturdy and put things on, definitely get these. I've had this desk for 3 years now. It has never broken. It is holding so much stuff and it's great. I love it. No notes, so easy to put together. That's why we have the little thingy to cover it all up, because I'm very mean to my desks. Here we've got the drawers. So we'll just go over it real quick here. These bottom boys, these lower boys are 64 drawer organizers from Acro Mills. I got them on Amazon. When I got them, they were $30 each. Now I think they're up to 70, so you may or may not want to get this exact same model, but they are 64 drawer. And as you can see, I have organized all of my pony beads in rainbow order. Up to here is all just regular 9mm pony beads. I get them from Bead tin. They look like this. Doop. They're all from Bead tin. And it doesn't matter where you get your pony beads from, but I prefer Bead 10. I like the Beadery brand. That's my jam. So this is all just up to here, 9mm pony beads. Centralized, normally this is where I sit. There's a chair here. I work at this desk. I reach over to my right to get all my pony beads, or I can scoot over here and work at this desk and have everything like more or less in arm's reach. These upper boys are, God, how many? I always have to recount how many drawers there are. One moment, please. These are 41 drawer organizers. So it's 40 of the little drawers and then one big fat drawer down at the bottom. I know they sell these on Walmart.com. I got them from like some random hardware supply website and they took forever to ship. So buy at your own risk, I guess. But they are the perfect size to hold perler beads. This boy here, all these, up to here, up to this row here. These are all perler beads, and one pack of 1,000 perler beads fits perfectly in one of these drawers. So if you're looking for a system to hold perler beads specifically, or melt beads, fuse beads, Art Cal, Candy's World, like whatever brand you use, definitely recommend these ones for that. The bottom drawers are perfect for holding like tweezers, extra string, like little odds and ends. I don't know if you could fit like a pegboard in there. I don't think you could, but that's what I use those for. So perler beads. I have so many colors of tri-bead. This is what tri-beads are. It's the little three-pronged boys. I had so many colors of tri-bead that I had to move them out of my like under desk storage and into drawers. And they also fit very nicely into those drawers. So that's that. This is all mini perler beads. Just to give you a comparison, we'll take here. So these are regular perler beads, and these are minis. So little, so tiny baby. So this whole one is just mini perler beads. And I like to use these for projects where like I want to get a lot of detail into one small space, because you can only get so much detail with perler beads without going like huge, massive, enormous, like clunky perlers. Sometimes you just want like a lot of detail and a little bit of space. So mini perler beads are super good for that. You can get these directly from the perler website. They sell them on Bead 10, they sell them on Amazon. Like, they're very easy to find. You just want mini fuse beads. And they have their own type of pegboard. So you want to make sure if you're getting mini fuse beads, you also get the pegboard and the tweezers. While we're talking about perler supplies, I gotta show you what I use to iron my perlers. This lives under my desk. This lives under my desk. They are both Cricut heat press thingies. I don't use like a regular iron that you would use to iron your clothes, just because it doesn't give you as much control over the temperature. They don't always heat perfectly evenly, and these guys do. This is the 12x9, I believe, and this is like the little mini one. So if you're making a lot of stuff with mini perlers or very small pieces, this one is totally fine and it's more budget friendly. But if you're making a lot of perlers or you're making a lot of big perlers, I really, really highly recommend like investing in one of these. It took my iron time from like 5 minutes, 10 minutes per perler down to like a minute and a half per perler. And when you're doing huge amounts of perler projects, like it just saves you so much time and energy. It is like, I can't even describe how worth it is. This organizer is for all of my base head beads. Some of you may have heard me talk about base head beads before. It's a small business owned by a friend of mine who I actually now work for. I do their social media. And I will just show you an example here. They are all 3D printed little beads, all kinds of different designs. I am high-key obsessed with them. And so I got to a point where I had so many of them that I had to just devote an entire organizer just to base head beads. So you saw like that was all paw prints and dogs and cats. I have like all my little food beads in one. You get the idea. So this is all just like base head beads. And then we got letter beads. So if you have ever done candy with like words and phrases on it, you understand the pain of like digging through a plastic bag looking for the last letter E. And finally I was just like I used to have them in one of these containers where it's just, you know, a little plastic divider thing. And finally I just like got so sick of it. I was like, no, we're doing an entire organizer just devoted to letter beads. So it's all letter beads, and it has made my life just improved the quality of my life so much to have them like sorted out by letter. I cannot recommend it enough. Even if you can't get one of these organizers for it, like, I'll just show you, like, you can grab one of these things that, you know, you get pony beads from at Walmart or whatever. When you're done using the pony beads, save the organizer and like use it to sort your letter beads. It is life-changing. So I've got 2 more 64 drawer organizers. Of course I do. More pony beads, but these ones are faceted. And let me show you the white ones. I think that'll pick up easiest on camera. They look like little tiny golf balls. Can you tell that they're faceted? So they're faceted. They have a bunch of little tiny like flat surfaces all over them. And these ones are specifically for if you're doing a stitch called right angle weave. These are so much easier to work with than regular pony beads. So, of course, I got all of the colors and devoted an entire organizer to them because I don't know how to do things halfway. And then the last one, all of these drawers, like a bunch of these drawers are still empty. I haven't figured out what to put in them yet. But it's just general like overflow. I've got like, yeah, I'll show you these beads. They look so edible. They look so delicious. Like these, they are from Bead tin, and I just want to eat them. I got all of the colors, and I haven't used them yet, but I'm gonna. I swear I'm gonna. So yeah, it's literally just like the main stuff, the extras. But yeah, so that's all my stuff. This desk is clean because I'm shooting a video. Normally, it is buried in half-done projects. Like all the projects that I'm in the middle of working like all the projects that I'm in the middle of working on usually just live on this desk and like pile up and stare at me accusingly. So I recommend having a space to put the projects that you're working on when you are not in the middle of working on them. And I don't necessarily recommend having it be the top of a desk because it always drives me crazy. So I use most of my under the desk space for storage. I just make sure there's enough room for my legs to go if I'm sitting there, and everything else is storage. These hold all of my extra like specialty beads. I got them at Michael's. They are like photo and craft organizer keeper thingies. And if you wait for the sales, you can get them for like $15 each. So there's a bunch of little things in there. You can see beads. So, you know, these are obviously not pony beads. I don't really have another place to store them. And so I just try to keep them sorted, you know, same type of thing with same type of thing so I can easily find it. And that way when I'm making a cuff or I'm making like a custom or I'm doing some kind of themed item, I can go through my little organizers and find a themed bead or themed beads that would go with what I'm making. And I found that that saved me a lot of time and a lot of space. Something that I had to figure out when I moved to these big organizers for pony beads was overflow storage, because one bag of pony beads from Bead tin fits mostly into one of these drawers. So a bag of 500 beads, the drawer only fits 400. I need a place to store those other 100 beads. This boy came in handy. This entire middle drawer is my overflow drawer. Currently it is, you can see how heavy it is. I'm like holding it up. And when I restock, I put everything that can fit into the drawers in the drawers, and then everything else goes in here. And so when I'm doing like inventory, it's a little bit of a mess right now because I just restocked. But so I do recommend, however you store your beads, have some kind of designated overflow space, whether it's one of these guys or if it's just like a cardboard box, some place that you can just put, you know, the baggies that still have beads in them when they're not out in use. So like I said, I keep a lot of stuff under my desk. This drawer is mostly full of empty bead tin bags. There's so many of them. I feel bad throwing them away because it's plastic, but also I make my own DIY candy kits, and so I repurpose the bags for when I'm making a candy kit. I'll just fill this with beads, put my own sticker on top of it, and we're recycling. So I've gotten so many bead tin restocks over the past 3 years that like the entire drawer is literally just filled with bags. Like the Candy Kid version of that one drawer in your house full of shopping bags, it's that. And then this drawer is some perler bead restocks and just random enormous things that won't fit anywhere else. So it's like the non-pony bead restock drawer, you know what I mean? This is the bottom of my desk, and I am showing it to you because this power strip has been an absolute game changer. Previously, you could see right here in the corner, there was just this one little wall plug, and so I would have to unplug and replug and unplug and replug every time I wanted to use like an iron or my sewing machine or anything. And now there is a giant power strip that is stuck to the bottom of my desk. Thank you, Hagai, I love you. And it took them, like it was very tricky to get that like stuck up there, but it was so worth it. And now I don't have to be crawling around under my desk all the time. So just a thought. There's a couple other things like this that I'm going to show you. So the other thing that we did is you can see there is a gap between these two desks, and this one's a little taller than this one. So like it wasn't going to work to put these flush up against each other. There was a little gap between the desks. So what we did was we cut a cardboard tube in half. This is one of these things that like posters come in. Cut it in half, just duct taped it to the bottom of the two desks, and now we have a little bead catcher for the beads that inevitably try to escape off the ends there. And there's just enough room between the two tables for a power strip to go. So it kind of keeps the cords out of the way. It has the cords go along this channel, along with the beads, and it is just like another kind of handy dandy little way to think with the space that you have. Perler boards and other perler supplies, makeup, sewing stuff, zippers and worms, and scrap fabric. And my sewing machine. This is my new baby. I got her at the end of last year because I was like, I think I need a little bit more tax write-off. Just kidding, IRS, if you're watching this video. No, but for real, I want to get into making Rave clothing. I want to make some of my own clothing because, as we all know, it can be very difficult to find stuff that is plus size, that is cute, that fits good. And so I kind of just want to start making my own things. I also, with the Squishmallow bags, like I make the linings and I've been hand sewing all of it and it takes forever. So I got a sewing machine and I've been learning how to use it and I've been using it to make the linings, and boy howdy, it sure cuts down some of that time. So I like it a lot. I am not a professional yet, but I am still putting in the practice. And yeah, this is my baby. So she lives under the desk most of the time, unless I am using her, in which case she lives on top of the desk. Welcome to Squish Mountain. This is about 100 Squishmallows, all stuffed into Ziploc baggies, gallon Ziplocs. Any Squishmallow that is 8 inches or smaller will fit into a 1 gallon Ziploc baggie, and you just squish the air out of it and you shove it in a box. Because I make Squishmallow bags and I need a place to store the Squishmallows that I'm using to make those bags. Yeah. We're not gonna think about the implications of this too much, we're just gonna move on. Honorable mention to my brand new box full of yarn. I recently got into crochet. This is a piece that I'm in the middle of, and the top, the shirt that I'm wearing in this video, I actually made myself. I'm very proud of it. It's like the second thing I ever made. So here's my box of crochet stuff, and I'm sure it will be growing and taking over more of my office soon, but we'll see what happens with that. Maybe it won't. Let me live in a fantasy world where it won't. This is the work in progress box I was talking about. There's around 100 perler necklaces in here, plus the 2 squish bags that I'm in the middle of working on. And I find that keeping them at least like in a box together kind of helps cut down on the sprawl and the mess. But yeah, like I said, it lives on this desk. So this is my Rave closet, and I completely understand not everybody has the extra space to just have a full Rave closet, but having my own office does make it so that I can just like put all my Rave stuff in one place. So I've got my fluffies, my old school Rave fluffies. I've got my pashminas. I've got my fanny packs. I've got all of my crazy, colorful Rave outfits all in one place. And then I also have like my hydro packs, my inflatable couch, like all the stuff that I take with me to festivals. It all lives in here. This is entirely full of candy singles that I have been traded at events because I haven't figured out how to display them yet, but it's just like a full box of candy. I'll show you that later.
2 hours later.
This is my box full of basically every candy single I have ever gotten. A lot of them were for events, and you can see when I get them at an event, I use the wristband from that event to tie them all together so that I remember where I got them. In a future video, if you want, I can go through this whole thing and talk about them. We're not gonna have time to do that now, but I have so many just like candy singles. It's amazing. But yeah, I just like all my festival stuff, all my Rave stuff in one spot, so I don't have to go like digging through piles every time I'm going out for a show, which is really, really nice. As you can see, I've also made use of my vertical space. A lot of stuff that I like use very frequently is just sitting up on top, all my string, all my like extra special beads, just stuff that I will need to pull out a lot, but can't fit in these drawers, sits up on top. So we've got our emotional support mascot who lives up here. And I like just more storage, use of vertical space. These are all my floor beads. I drop beads constantly when I am making stuff, and then I get to a point where I'm like, oh, if I step on another bead, I'm gonna lose it. So then I clean my floor, and the floor beads go into this bag. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this, but they live here for now. The boys. We've got my different fabrics. I use these for the linings on my Squishmallow purses, and then my half-finished crochet project. I will be talking about crochet shortly, but again, use of vertical space. We've got my gumball machine. I am definitely planning to use this in future content. It's all base head beads in here, and it actually works. Look at that. So I've got a little candy randomizer just like built in here. Keep an eye out for that coming soon. We've got storage, crochet hooks, my little fabric cutter. Actually, this is very important. This is a very important part of the office. It is my box of significant rocks. It's not a box. We've been filming for several hours now. It is my jar.
I was like, are we gonna, is this used to be in a box? What is the deal? I was mystified.
I'm just tired.
I was like, oh, lore that I don't know about Mood Kandi.
Nope, it's my jar of significant rocks. They keep the place, they keep the vibes good.
Hold on. I need to stop shaking because I'm laughing.
My brain is porridge. Here we have, I'm gonna actually see if we can, there we go. The boy. This is a frog. And he's actually a paper towel holder. But he's a frog with a very long leggy. And I use him as a candy holder, candy display. And he just lives up here and happily displays a bunch of my candy. Something else that I wanna just like talk about here really briefly. The stuff up here. So we've got my pins on the wall, which I don't know if we have time to get to it in this video, but I also collect pins. I love them. They are shiny and they are beautiful and they make my brain happy. So when I was setting up this office, I was like, pins. And I have more that didn't even fit in this room, but just like my shinies. And then this stuff up here. So this is like a shower curtain tension rod. And we use it to hang backdrops for if we're doing product photography. We can hang just like a white sheet or a green screen off of it, and it'll sit down here and we can take photos. And then this is my shop light, which I think we only got that like 2 months ago, and it has been a game changer. Like, I don't know how I was living before this in just this dark cave of candy, but like it just lights up my whole workspace. If you can't get or hang a shop light, you can get, there's like lights that clip onto the side of a desk to illuminate just your workspace. I really, really recommend like figuring out some kind of lighting for your workspace so that you're not straining your eyes when you work. I did not realize that I was doing that until I got this light, and it's just on all the time now. I can't imagine going back to not being able to see what I'm doing when I work. This is my box of boxes. Here's the other half of my packing supplies. This is specifically for boxes when something is too big to fit in a bubble mailer or too fragile to fit in a bubble mailer. I save all of my boxes that I get like other packages in that are, you know, around a foot or smaller. And I just put them in the big box, and that way when I have to mail something out, I can just grab a box out of the box. I said box a lot, but you get the idea. Saves time, saves money, highly recommended. These are my ball pit stars. If you're watching this, you probably have seen that I make a lot of ball pit star chains, and they're all organized by color. Again, I love these plastic drawer systems. I had to like put some, you know, 2 colors in the same drawer, and when I did that, I tried to make it colors that were very different from each other so I wouldn't like get confused and accidentally grab the wrong one. But this is probably the best storage system I could have figured out. They used to be just in like sacks lying around, and that was not very helpful for me. This way, whenever I get an order, I can just come over here, grab the star colors that I need, make the chain. It really, really streamlined the process. This is not even all of my ball pit stars. Fun story, anytime you order ball pit stars from Amazon, they will send you a mixed bag of a bunch of different colors, but they will always include this blue, this pink, and this like teal color. And so I have a storage unit downstairs as part of like our apartment, and there's just bags of these colors of stars down there that I have not found a use for yet. So if you want to order a star chain in those colors, hit me up. I need to get rid of some of those stars. So when I make candy and it doesn't have a specific purpose, or like I'm making it for an event and the event is coming up and I need a place to store it, it goes in here. I've got star chains, harnesses, cuffs, singles, like all of it. It just goes in this storage container. And that way, when the event comes around, I can just scoop what I need out of it and bring it all with me. And then anything that I don't trade or give away goes back in the bin. But it keeps kind of like a like constantly refilling resource of candy that I can just like take places. And yeah, it's really nice. It used to just be a cardboard box next to my bed, and when I would finish a piece, I would like toss it in the box. And when we moved here, we upgraded to a full plastic storage bin. Also, additional perler storage. I make perlers for Candy's World, and so I have a ton of just like bulk perler beads. So I got another one of these plastic bad boys to keep all of those in. This is the candy wall. It's had a couple of different incarnations, both at my last place and even here. We've had it on a couple of different walls here. I am super happy with where we're at right now, and we have very little space left, unfortunately, because this is where I put all of my trades. Like when I trade candy with someone, they give me a cuff, they give me a perler, it goes up onto the candy wall. So I got this idea from my friend Candy Demigod over on Instagram. He's had a candy wall for years, and it is such a cool way of displaying candy. I just use command hooks. Like you can get ones that have ratings for 2 pounds, 5 pounds, whatever, if you're worried about falling off the wall, but primo. Super fun to put up, super fun to look at. Definitely recommend. You will notice that I also have some storage along the back wall. I like having storage. I have a lot of storage. So that's more ball pit stars. And just like regular ball pit balls, other ball pit accessories live in this big tub here. My animal cuffs actually normally live on this like rolling cart thing, but we're using the rolling cart to film this. So it's the only thing you don't get to see in my office is this like rolling 3-tier cart. Hubert, as always, watching over me, my boy. And Flowstar, beads, like just general other stuff. This thing is full of toys to go on candy, slinkies, little like miniatures, stuff like that. I inherited a bunch of glass beads and I spent like 5 hours sorting them all by color, and that's what this is. I'm not sure what I'm gonna do with them yet, but I have them for the future. And then rolling 3-tiered cart, just generally to hold stuff, to move stuff. I have some like in progress projects in there. It's good to have like just places to put your trinkets. It's a thing for my trinkets. Everyone has trinkets. So yeah, it's the back wall. Ta-da! And that's the tour. Thank you so much for sticking around. Hubert and I both appreciate it. As is tradition, Hubert is here to help me do the video outro. And because my whole body is on screen instead of just my hands, it gets to be Big Hubert again instead of his tiny, tiny brother. Thank you so much for watching this whole thing. I know it was a lot of stuff. I collect things. I like them. They are shiny and they make me happy. And I hope you also liked them. There is a link in the description to my Amazon storefront, which has links to basically everything that I talked about here that is available on Amazon. Anything that's not available on Amazon, you can go over to my Instagram, and I have highlights in my profile that talks about other sources that I got things from if you want to get some for yourself. If you want to help support the channel, there are links below to my Patreon. It's $3 a month. You get to vote on tutorials, you get some behind the scenes stuff and different candy patterns there. There is a link to my Etsy where I make candy and I also do customs, and you can just follow me on social media. I super appreciate it, literally any support. It's amazing to me that we're here, and I appreciate each and every one of you. I especially appreciate my patrons, who without them I would not be doing this video right now, and you will see a little credits with all of their names scrolling past in just a second. Their support feeds Hubert, and as you can see, he's a growing boy. He needs all the help he can get, and so do I. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good day. Claire.
How'd you feel?
I kissed my hand. Little smooches.